Morning, welcome to our small footprint. We are back again today with a couple of days of kitchen work for you and whatever else happened in the day. I think that having seen the feedback on these videos and stuff like that, this will be the way I basically continue. Yes, there'll be a couple of project videos as requested, but a lot of it will be just our day-to-day, and as we keep on doing it, hopefully I'll get better at filming it and sharing it, and it'll be more aesthetically pleasing as I go through. We bought a big bale of hay that needs to be spread out in the chicken and the pig pen, so I will try and get some footage of the kids and I doing that and figure out how to make it work so that you get to join in on everything that we get done in a way that looks nice, I suppose. So everyone seems to really enjoy just basically joining us on our days, so I think that's what I'll continue to do mostly. It's easier for me to bring in and do, and let me know if you've got any further feedback in the comments, because it's still just a work in progress. We're still just figuring out what to do and how to do it so that people enjoy watching. So today is, I don't know what number day. I would have to look that up, maybe 8 and 9, maybe. And we made some sourdough apple fritters and some faux KFC chicken. I made soap, and I can't remember what else, but I have it all on video for you to check out. So enjoy watching, and I will see you again in another couple of days. Thanks. This morning I started off with using some of the apples that had a few bruises and stuff that were in the fridge. So I decided to make breakfast with them, and I just diced them up into little cubes. I cut away any of the bad spots, and I kept all the cores and any of that to make some more apple scrap vinegar for using in my, I'm going to make some shampoo bars that have apple vinegar in them, so rather than using store-bought, I can use homemade apple scrap vinegar in them, which will be nice. So I just diced up all the apples into little tiny cubes and then put them all in a bowl ready to go. Then I added some sugar, and you can use as little or as much as you like here. My starter was quite old, so it was a bit sour, so I used a decent amount. A whole lot of cinnamon and some bicarb, and then mix it all through. So just mix it really well until it's all combined. You want to make sure that there's no lumps of cinnamon or bicarb in it, because that's going to taste funny when you fry it off. So I added the starter in as well, and then mixed that really well too. It'll thin out as you add the starter, and you can add a little bit of flour if you feel like it's too thin to be able to put on the pan, if it's going to spread too much when you put it on the pan. So just see how you go. I generally fry them off in a little bit of lard and rice bran oil mixed together. I find that that's the best thing to use for this sort of thing. You've got shallow fried, you've got some flavour, some crispiness, but it doesn't smoke and burn as bad. I use about 1/4 cup of batter in each for each fritter, and then I put them all on a rack to so that any excess fat drips underneath them and they stay nice and crispy for when you eat them. We also cooked off some of our pork rind. Now I've got a video showing how we use our pork legs that we have, but we cut all the rind away and we cook it over baked potatoes, and then that way we're rendering all the lard that we use in a jar, but we also get the yummy crispy pork rinds to eat and some really nice baked potatoes to have with our next meal. I did a bit of a different kitchen cook up today. I decided to make some soap. Now we're trying to get away from purchasing soap and shampoo and things like that, just reducing the quantity of items that we have to purchase from an outside source. I have made soap and all that many times before, but I have been slack lately with getting sorted to do it. It takes a little bit of setup to get it going. You have to be careful with who's around when you're doing it, and you just have to have everything out and ready to go. It's just something that is an added task, but I really need to get back into doing it. And once you start doing it again, it really isn't that big a deal. So I can do some videos up with the whole process if you'd like. This is just a bit of an overview of how we did it, how I made this particular batch, and this is a molasses oat bar. It's just a really gentle olive oil, coconut oil mix bar with a little bit of hemp seed oil and the ground oats and some molasses in it. It'll be a nice gentle bath soap for us to use. So the process is fairly similar no matter what you're doing, and I'll just rush through this for you and give you a look at the way it went down. I did this hot process in the slow cooker in the crock pot, and so I've got some footage of it all going through right to when I put it in, pulled it out of the mould and sliced it the next morning. For dinner that night, we did one of our faux takeaway dishes that is one of the favourites around here. It is a faux KFC chicken. So when I sliced up all my chicken the other day, some of it I sliced into fillet pieces, and the fillet pieces were meant for this purpose. It's for making these tenders. We don't do it very often because you use a lot of chicken per meal when you're eating it like this. So we only make it maybe once a month because we tend to go through about 1.5 kilos of chicken between the 8 of us in one sitting when it's eaten like this. We had it with mashed potato and steamed veggies and gravy, and it's really good. But yeah, we do tend to go through a lot more chicken than if I was making something else, that like a curry or a stir fry or something like that, where we load it all up with more vegetables and have less meat. So it's a decadent kind of an expensive meal for us, I suppose. I do a spice mix up. It's plain flour, paprika, garlic, onion, thyme, a bit of sage, salt, pepper, and it's all mixed up into the flour. You have to make sure that you are dipping your chicken into the flour and then the egg and then the flour again. That's what creates part of that real crispy batter-like texture without being a batter. We fried it off like I do most things, in a bit of lard and a bit of rice bran oil, so that it's got a high smoke point and you've got just that shallow fry. I don't tend to deep fry much of anything. It just uses too much oil to do it, and we don't buy oil in that sort of quantities, frying oil anyway. So everything I do tends to be shallow fried if I'm going to fry it. And again, you need to put it on a rack so that any excess fat will drip off and it'll stay nice and crispy. Once it's cooked this way, it's really nice and moist, as you can see here. I finished the day off by making dough for the next day. So I made a slightly enriched bun dough, almost like a burger bun dough, I suppose, but I'm just fiddling with recipes to figure out what's the best kind of dough for us to use on a regular basis. We love our bagels, but they are really time consuming for me to make the next day. It can take me a couple of hours to boil and bake them all, so it's not always feasible. And then I made some sweet dough up as well to make some scrolls for tomorrow. I'll probably do, maybe a jar of my apple shreds in it. If I have enough time, maybe some custard as well, but that's probably pushing my abilities for the next day. So I made them, put them in the container and left them to rise overnight. So thank you again for joining me today, and I hope you continue to enjoy watching our kitchen endeavours, and I will see you again in the next couple of days. Thanks.